How comfortable are you sharing your entire life with the world? With that, I mean sharing your thoughts, sharing your behaviors, and sharing every single action you take in your day to day life. It's more like live streaming your entire life 24/7, obviously. If you're anything like me, the idea of constantly streaming your entire life would make you uncomfortable. Because as an evolving human, I believe that there are a lot of thoughts and behaviors and actions within me which are not completely formed. And I need some time to kind of reflect over those thoughts and actions to make sure that those align with who I am, or at least who I identify as. But keep in mind, there are people out there who would be constantly seeking attention, and I bet those people would be comfortable having a camera on them 24/7. Not me. And I know most of the people wouldn't agree to that either. So then the conversation truly become about privacy. What exactly is privacy and how much do you have right to your own privacy? In the digital era, the privacy is out of window. And honestly, the companies who are actually making billions of dollars feed on your privacy. In a way, they are leeching of your privacy. And although you can take control of that, you don't have the total control over your own privacy. And that is something we all have to be vigilant about. Because in the older times, you would be able to control your own privacy, your privacy of thoughts, your privacy of actions, and your privacy of conversations with the people in your life. But now, most of these things could be exposed at any given time. And the stress of being conscious about everything you do could be overwhelming. And honestly, I'm a fan of being mindful all the time. So in a way it's great that we all could be mindful of our conversation with people, our search history online, our behavior online as well as offline. So this mindfulness is a good personal check. But at the same time, at times I feel my energy is completely drained out because I can't express myself truly, or at least I can't be open to make mistakes because I would not know where my mistakes could be, you know, taken out of context and could come back and bite me in the future. So there are good and bad, but I personally feel that in the current transformation, which is the transformation from the older technology to the digital technology, most of the devices or most of the platforms are based around data, which is your information. And we have little to no control over how much or what kind of information these platforms are extracting. So I hope that the next generation of technology would be privacy focused. And I personally feel that there are three layers to privacy. The layer one is the public privacy, which means that anything which is in public domain about you, and which also mean like anything you posted or anything someone else have written or posted about you. So all of that is in public domain, and I believe that's the public privacy. And we can have debate about how much control you should have over that, because once it's in public domain, you know, you have little to no control over that. And we can all obviously have conversation about what that public privacy even mean, where to draw the lines, because some conversations shouldn't be public. For instance, if I am having a conversation with a friend of mine or with my family, then I don't want that conversation to be available in public domain. And that's the second layer of privacy, which is personal privacy, where I have control over my personal information, which I share with my friends and family, the conversations I have, some unbaked ideas I might share with them, which could be taken out of context and could be, tagged as anti something. So I definitely want those personal conversations, the personal information to be kept between me and the party and between my friend or family and whatnot. So I feel that the second layer of privacy is important, and it's the trust between you and the whoever you're having that conversation with. And the third layer is the private privacy, where something which you don't want to share with your friends or family, or it's between you and, I don't know, your doctor, for instance, your medical record are your most private information, along with, say, your um, personal biometrics like your fingerprints, your eye scanner, or there could be so many different private information which you don't want to share with anyone at all, like your personal like your private journal, which obviously you don't want the world to see, otherwise you would post it as a public information. So I feel that if we end up creating technology around this model, it will give a better control to people, because then I can choose what is outlined as my public privacy versus personal privacy versus private privacy. And this will equip me to make better informed choices. For instance, if I'm having, say, a personal conversation with someone which I don't want to be exposed in the public domain, then that could be protected, in protected with different layer of laws, versus the information which I expose publicly and is available publicly, and that could have like a different laws. But regardless, I feel that one should have control over their information. I mean, honestly, you can't control what someone else might have posted about you, but you should have control over the information which you seek out, which you post and share with the world. And currently, it pains me that these companies are making billions of dollars just harvesting on our private data, whereas we are completely left out. I think the next generation of technology should empower people to be able to sell their data. So if I choose to sell my location services to any application, they should reward me, or they should actually pay me for that data. And I think that should also expand to the government, in the sense, I truly believe that the government should seek out the public opinion when they're making laws. And don't get me wrong, I'm not talking about direct democracy where everyone get to vote on everything, and because of the emotional connection with different issues, people might just randomly vote on things which may not be helpful for them in the first place. So I'm not in favor of direct democracy, and that's why I sort of like the model we currently model around, which is having a republic where people vote a representative who, in turn, is supposed to represent their voters and vote on their behalf. However, as we know, most of these systems are corrupted. Then the question is, how can we fix it? One way to try to fix it to be is to elect a better leaders, but as the history shows, that doesn't work long. Sooner or later, either that leader become corrupted or is replaced by someone who is corrupt, and eventually the system fall back to the same old pattern of being corrupted. So I feel that the happy medium is that the government pay to the people to get the data from the people, Imagine a UBI sort of situation where a government can pay, say, $500 to every single individual who vote on a particular issue. And obviously, the vote doesn't have to be one way or the other way. It's more like a referendum, but the government is paying the citizen in terms of UBI for their active participation and the information, just to gauge where the public are at. And this way, there would be more enriching participation from people, and people would have stake in the system and they would try to educate themselves rather than being swayed away by the emotions and the talking points of their party. I feel that the next generation of technology should empower people as well as government to have this symbiotic relationship where government can seek out the data from the people and reward them. And that should also expand to other corporations. Because if someone is harvesting on my data, on my day-to-day life, and try to sell me different things which I may or may not want, I at least deserve to get paid for that information. And to expand on this, think how different industries can take advantage of this. In the sense, if someone is willing to sell their exercise habits, and then that will help researchers to understand how their inner body work and how different factors such as lifting more weights versus having a nutritious diet versus having an active lifestyle would affect the health. And that will eventually help the public in general to change their behaviors and opt in a better behavior pattern, which can empower them to live a happy and fulfilling life. But at this moment, where we have almost little to no control over our data, I think the best strategy is to be really, really be mindful of what we post online, as well as the conversations we have using any digital platform. Because even though those conversations are private or personal, it could be taken out of context and could ruin your life. That's where the whole cancel culture come into place, right? I mean, there are tribes of people on both sides of the political spectrum who want to cancel a set of people or a set of companies because of their personal conversations or whatnot. I think there is a value in exposing some of the bigotry ideas, but I think we have to be really cautious about what it could cause in the long term. Because the most beautiful part of the United States is the First Amendment, the right to speech. That gives right to everyone to speak up their mind, whatever they want to talk. And trust me, if history can teach you anything, it teaches you that all of these bigotry ideas sooner or later is exposed and are scrutinized within public domain. But at the same time, there are people who are constantly evolving or growing, and they may used to have some bigotry ideas in the past because of the programming from the culture or society or other factors. And when these people evolve, they should have a room to breathe rather than being haunted for something they have said or done in the past. Because as a society, we have to pick and choose. If we choose to be compassionate and help people who really want to change by boosting them, or are we going to haunt these people and drive them far away from where we hope they would be? And the worst part of it is that extremists going to use this tactic, use this strategy for their own advantage. But I guess that is something we would have to live in because we are living in that world even now. So there wouldn't change anything. But if anything, this will help us to bring the people who are on the margins of extreme ideas but not completely bought into it, to bring it back to a more rational and sane ideas and help them to become a part of solution rather than a part of problem. So I hope that we all adapt these privacy models and be very mindful and conscious of what and how and who we are sharing our information to. With that note, until next time, peace.